In today's video, I am going to be breaking down 5 simple basketball plays that can be ran with pretty much any youth basketball team. Let's get down, let's check these out. Really quickly, if you want to check out my 5-out complete guide, make sure to go check out the link down in the description below. I find the 5-out offense is the easiest to teach kids. Okay, so first, if you're going up against a 2-3 zone, this is a very popular zone defense, especially in today's game. Many coaches don't have the time to teach a man-to-man defense, so the zone is what they are playing. So what I really like to do is to have either a 5-out or a 4-out set, and the first play I'm going to show you is a 4-out set. And basically what you would see is most likely the defense playing something like this. Now, it doesn't necessarily matter if you're running a 4-out set. If you are running 5-out, it's actually quite simple to be able to set up. All you would do is just have your point guard, who is probably currently getting trapped up top, calling out 4-out or go to 4 or go to zone offense or whatever you want to call this play. It doesn't necessarily matter. But all he needs to do is to dribble towards this left side. Player 3 will then dip down to where player 5 is, and player 5 will cut towards the rim. At this time, we're now in 4-out, and we would have player 5 trying to post up player 5 in that low post. Obviously, if there's a mismatch, if you have one massive dude, you can just have some isolation ball going, and if either one of these two players drop down, it's a kick out for a 3-point shot. However, maybe you may not be coaching a team that has many good shooters. What you can do is this. After we get into this set, what we would then have is player 5 setting a screen on that outside defender, and player 3 is going to be then cutting to the high post. When that happens, traditionally and most likely, what you will find is player 5 is going to be popping up because that's of course his location on that zone. And if player 5 can then seal on player 3, this would be a fantastic high to low pass for player 5 to get a layup. Super simple play that you can run with your team. Now, a zone offense that I'm actually currently trying to get my team that I coach to run is what I call Zone Go. And we're obviously going to be changing the names throughout the season so that when we play against the same team over and over again, they're not seeing the same plays. But usually what you're going to have is that trap or double team up top. You're going to be most likely seeing players 3 and 4 playing a bit higher and player 5 playing a bit lower. We're then going to have player 5 and 4 both flashing to the high post. And when that happens, players 3 and 2 are going to be dropping down towards the corners. At this time, we're going to be having player 1 choose which player he wants to pass to. And let's say, as an example, he passes to player 4. Most likely, you're going to be seeing player 5 pop up and player 3 pop down. Well, now that pass goes to player 4. Player 5 is going to be then cutting towards the rim. This could be a high to low post pass for an easy layup. Or if player 4 or 3 popped in, we can kick it out for a 3. That's also an option. Now, when we go back to when player 5 and 4 popped up top and 3 and 2 went down towards the corners, what we would also like to add on is the fact that when player 1 passes to player 4, obviously, that's going to be moving the defense like this. We're going to have player 5 cutting towards the rim. But after that pass, that's usually going to drop player 2 down, where now we can have player 1 cut out towards this free throw line extended, and he may be also an option for player 4 to pass to for that 3-point shot. Now, going back to that 4-out offense I showed you before, again, we can just set it up easily in that 5-out. We just, again, pop these players over. And when that happens, what we can have is now, in the same formation as what we had before, we can now have player 4 pop up towards that high post from the corner. And when that happens, we now are essentially in an overload. When we get that pass into that high post, we're going to be seeing player 5 move up, player 3 move in, player 4 probably move in as well. And we can have player 2 then move slightly down to try to get into a passing lane so that now player 4 could pass to player 5, could pass out to player 3, or could take one dribble drive, collapse the defense, and kick it out to player 2 for a wide open 3-point shot. Now, what you're going to actually find, especially if you're coaching a beginner team, is that second play I showed you where we had those corner players pop up to the high post. What you'll actually find is sometimes that high post player will drive to the basket and you'll have that weak side, that opposite side player, move down into a passing lane just by instinct, which is fantastic, and he'll be able to set himself up for multiple threes. Actually, in fact, we don't even run this last play I showed you. We run that zone go, what I was mentioning, where they go up to the elbows. And last night's game, I had one player hit three-point shots just by instinct to get to the open spot. These kids have never played organized rep basketball or club basketball before, and they are doing this off by instinct because we've been practicing, hey, get to that open spot. So if you can also practice drills as to teaching your players, hey, if you're not open, try to find an open spot to get open for a three, and they just may find themselves open for a lot of three-point shots. So something about me when it comes to these 5-out plays is how I can actually set them up super simply. And what I really like to see against a zone is a simple 5-out pass and drive. So we'll have player 1 take a couple of dribbles out towards this side to make that clean pass over to player 3. What's going to happen then is, because that is player 1's spot and player 3 is going to be out here, we're going to be having player 1 potentially wide open cutting towards the rim. When you pass that ball into player 1, of course, if he's tall enough and if he's able, he can get that shot off. That is a total option. If he is a bigger player, like for example myself, with my junior high school team one of the teams I coach, we have a very tall player who can handle the ball. And when he passes that ball out towards the wing, when he cuts, he's the same size as any center in our city. And then I get him to post up for 3 seconds. If he gets that ball, I'm trying to teach him the fact that he can just turn and shoot really quickly. Small baby hooks, things like that. And then if we have a player who comes down to double team that post, we can kick it out for a wide open 3-point shot. And this is a super simple play that you can run. Now, if that's not open, we'll have player 2 filling that point, player 4 filling that wing, player 1 popping out towards this side. And again, we can make that pass up towards that point. We're going to be seeing the team's trap up top. But again, player 3, pass and drive. When that happens, pass and cut, whatever you want to call it, he's going to post up in the middle. Again, if he's got that opportunity, he can take it to the rim. He may be able to collapse the defenders. He may be able to kick out for threes. There's so many different options. And that's actually a fantastic play to run because it actually is ridiculously simple. It's actually what I classify as one of the basics of a 5-out offense. Pass and cut. Super, super, super easy. Now, if you're lucky enough to go up against a man-to-man defense, oddly enough, all of the plays I just showed you work against zones, but also man-to-man. But this one specifically works extremely well against a man-to-man defense. And what we are doing here is we're going to have basically a 1-4 low offense, and we're going to have players 5 and 4 setting screens for the wing or the corner players. We can run this in the high post. We can also run this down low along the baseline too. And basically all we're going to have is screen out, player 2 and 3 popping up, and then when those screens happen, player 1 needs to be smart. He needs to see, hey, which player switched? Because then we can have the opportunity to be able to pass quickly down into player 5 for a layup. We may even have the opportunity to pass to player 3 for an open 3, or even 2 for an open 3. Or if we made that pass, if you coach an older team maybe who can then run contingencies on made or missed plays, what you can do now after this pass, if nothing is open, player 5, because he's on the side that you pass to, can set that screen for player 1 to cut towards the basket for that layup. It's a fantastic basketball play that you could run. Now that last one is of course more advanced and maybe a bit harder to run with youth teams, but if you're coaching a grade 7 or 8 or older team that is somewhat advanced in some point, that last play could torch a lot of teams. I hope that this video has helped you win more games. If it has, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.